This cop is out of Norcross, Georgia, okay? Let's put up his picture. He was arrested for soliciting sex and misusing law enforcement databases. This is quite extreme. Kevin Sean Day, 36 years of age, of Sewanee, was charged with 2 counts apiece of pandering, violation of oath of office by a public officer, unauthorized request of disclosures of criminal history record information. He was fired recently on January 7th for immoral and illegal conduct while on duty in uniform. Department officials announced this late on Tuesday, okay? Now, I'm highlighting this because there's some great irony involved in this. What he did was wrong. What he did was illegal, okay? He's a whole cop in a uniform soliciting prostitutes, but also utilizing criminal databases illegally. He did some other things. He's fired. I mean, there was no, let's wait until there's an investigation. Let's wait until there's a conviction. Then he got arrested. Nobody said, well, you know what? We're still running an investigation. We're still trying to figure out what he did here. But if he would have put a bullet in an unarmed black man, he would still be employed right now. You have to understand the irony of this. You have to understand this. So when they tell you they can't do anything until they conclude an investigation, or they're powerless until this runs its course, or the bureaucracy has to work in the right direction, or they say something like, the wheels of justice just turn slow. Bear with us. This man was immediately arrested and fired for using the database illegally and trying to pay for prostitutes in his local area. Makes sense to me. But if this would have been an unarmed black man, all of a sudden, wait a minute, maybe we're jumping the gun here. Maybe he was in fear of his life. Okay, this guy, Officer Day, a master police officer, as he is called, joined the Norcross Police Department in late 2018, according to the department spokesperson, Lieutenant Robert Broad. The officer was fired one day. How many days? One day. After Norcross police investigators received evidence that Day allegedly committed acts of pandering for sex. One day, 24 hours. Put the handcuffs on him. He is also accused of violating state and federal regulations for law enforcement by using the FBI's Criminal Justice Information Services, as well as the Georgia Crime Information Center, GCIC database, to query people whose names had no legal justification. Looking up, the spokesperson said. So he's out here probably selling information. Records indicate that Officer Day's most recent charges all started at a Dollar Tree in Norcross. Investigators say he solicited and paid a woman for sex. Warrants say 2.5 weeks later, Day met the same woman at a motel. Again, solicited her, paid her for sex. 9 months later, investigators say Day used a law enforcement only database to get the woman's criminal history. The sheriff's office apparently recently received a tip about an officer picking up prostitutes and tracked Day down. Thomas, investigation shows Day had trouble before in Duluth, where he was an officer for just 16 months. Commanders fired him after allegations of what? Sexual battery against a Walmart employee. There was also surveillance video from that shoplifting call. Records show he denied the allegations but was fired. Day's police certification was put on probation for 2 years. He was later hired by the Norcross Police Department. You see how systemic this is? This man gets away in this department. He's allowed to either resign or get fired. He gets his post certification, which allows you to be a cop. He gets his post certification suspended or placed on probation. He then gets another job, is classified as a master police officer, and continues to be the same scumbag he always was. But he did get fired, and he did get arrested. You know and I know if he would have put a bullet in an unarmed black man or woman, he would still have his job today. Hell, Trump may have tweeted something in support of him. This is where we are. Jayar, what are your thoughts on this one?
So this is as you point out, this is the kind of thing where you where things won't be tolerated. We can see what they can do. It's pretty obvious. I think everyone's kind of always seen that, but we just won't acknowledge it out loud because that'll be too much of an indictment of the general police thought process. But he had access to these databases and he was searching up things with his nefarious dealings with prostitutes. Who else was he looking up on these databases? How else did he abuse his power and his access there? Did he look up other folks that he was trying to commit crimes or against, or to maybe frame? Again, I'm extrapolating to this degree because we've had 3 to 4 police stories just today about how dishonest, back dealing, and illegal activity they will carry out for their own interests and for their own their advancement or their own illegal activity in this case. And they finally found something where they have to go straight to taking it because there's not enough people in the, again, I mentioned community, they're gonna deal with a cop that's soliciting prostitutes because that's where we draw the line. Oh my God, prostitution. That's not family values. Hey, but framing black folks or putting tons of people in jail that have nothing to do with the things that you lied about, is that a family value cop that you want around? We don't have that kind of discussion. And again, his background, did they look into his background before they hired him? Did they find all this out that you, doctor, can find out right now and tell us? Did the police not have access to this information? Apparently their database sucks because they don't have enough of it to find out what their officers that they're hiring have done in the past. Hey, if you're working at Subway and your manager's found that you've given away too many 6-inch subs to your buddies because they come in at lunch like, hey, I only got $2, bro. Hey, can I just have a foot long? Yeah, give them a foot long. You will be fired. And after you're fired, if you go down the street and try and work at Jersey Mike's and they look at your employment history, fired from Subway for stealing. I don't think we're gonna hire this guy because he was giving away $7 6-inch subs. But this guy will be implementing and going into databases to protect himself or maybe incriminate someone else. And he just gets this job and he steals things from previous jobs. It doesn't matter. If you have a low level job, it's important. If you're in this important job, it's just okay.
Yep, well said.